Hello and welcome to this very, very special show on release day of the new 60mm, it's not the 60mm macro, straight into the mistakes, the new 90mm macro lens. It's such an exciting day. I don't even know the script that I've written myself. Thanks everybody for watching. Just please let me know, because as always, I am on my own here in the studio. Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. Just pop it into the comments, and then that makes me feel better about carrying on talking. But welcome, and I hope you've all enjoyed what's been happening so far today for the release of the 90mm Pro macro lens. Now, unfortunately, I have a little bit of sad news, because this session is supposed to be myself and the most wonderful Geraint Radford, macro photographer extraordinaire, unboxing this 90mm macro and having a little chat about how Geraint feels about the lens now that he's used it and the imagery that it's producing. But unfortunately, technology has overcome us today, and Geraint is having a few problems getting into the stream. So I'm keeping my eye down here on my little toolbar that will let me know if Geraint can get in. But if not, we're going to treat this a little bit like a day early Tech Thursday. So we're on Tech Wednesday for the release of the 90mm macro. So I'm just going to have a little look into the comments and make sure that everybody can hear me. Let's see. Very excited. Excellent stuff. People can hear. Sounding great. Brilliant. Thank you, John. Perfect stuff. Lovely. Now, I've just seen a quick question saying, is this pre-recorded? No, I'm not pre-recorded. You can ask me any questions you want, Ben. There we go. It's not pre-recorded. This is live, and you can talk to me if you want. Ask me questions, and I will do my very best to answer them. But I am going to bring through a little presentation of the lens, because tech geek, and I'm going to give you all the techie bits. You may well have just also noticed that I am wearing some white gloves. Now, this is not because of any kind of photography or lens snobbery today when it comes to the unboxing. But as some of you may know, I recently moved house, and my hands are in the most atrocious state, and I'm saving you all from having to look at them whilst we do the unboxing on the overhead camera by wearing the magical white gloves. So let's have a quick look in this chat and see if we've got, like I said, if you've got questions, put them up, and I will do my very best to answer them. I will say hello to a couple of you just because you've been kind enough to confirm that my audio is working. So we've got Annette over in Sweden. Yes, of course, John Milliken as well. Sue Robinson coming over loud and clear in Sussex in the UK, and all of you all around the world. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. And a lot of people already saying that you've ordered the lens. This is brilliant. We'll get into that chat about availability and stuff later on. I know that the Claires and Aaron were talking about some stuff this morning in their chat with Coffee with the Claires, which was fantastic. And we can cover some of the other questions that, if you didn't catch up with that is available to have a quick look at back on the YouTube channel. You can go back on previous lives. And of course, if you can't stay for this one, you can watch this one later on as well. It all gets sent to the channel afterwards, so you can have a little watch. Ask any questions in the comments afterwards. We'll come back in and try and answer those as well. So I'm just going to leave my comments at a place where I think the questions start. And I'm going to go over, I'm going to do the unboxing with you first. We're going to take this out of the box. I've had some time with the 90mm lens, not as much as I would have liked, as we've kind of moved them around to different people and things like that. And now I've received one that's never been out of the box. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take it out of the box. We're going to be all nerdy about it, which is fantastic. And you get a little look at what comes in it as well. But then we'll go on to the tech specs, and we'll have a little look at the presentation. And hopefully at some point, I'm desperately willing the technology gods to let Geraint into the stream. But if not, Geraint and I will set up another stream, another live stream very, very soon, where we can discuss his thoughts and see some of his images as well. Because I've already seen some of Geraint's images from this lens, and they are phenomenally unique, is the only way that I can describe these. I mean, I love Geraint's work anyway, but the stuff that he's been making with this lens is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, let's go ahead and have a little look at this lens. Let's go to my overhead camera. Here we go. There it is. Fantastic. So the magic gloves, here we go. Much better for your viewing pleasure. This is the new 90mm the M.Zuiko Digital ED F3.5 Macro IS Pro lens. Okay, and it is in the OM System branding because this is an OM System lens, and it's in our lovely new packaging, which I love. This is so much more sustainable than anything we've done previously. We've got these lovely sustainable packaging, nice and simple, with as little plastic involved as possible in here. So here's our 90mm, and you'll see on the front there, 180mm field of view equivalent because it's a 90. Let's get right into it. So let's pop this open and see what we can go with. Opening that up, nice and easy. Again, like I said, no plastic, minimal plastic. There is some in here, but it's very, very thin. It's very, very minimal. It's the least we could possibly use. So I'm going to open that through and see there. That's that first bit of plastic that's protecting the end of the lens. And just slipped down the side here, we have a lovely wrapping cloth. So you get a wrapping cloth with this to keep that lens in really nice condition. We'll open that up in just a second. So I'll pop that one up there. So let's just take out that first plastic covering. And this is a very thin, it's as least plastic as we could possibly use, which I love the idea of that. It's keeping as much plastic out of circulation as possible. And then here is the lens just inside. So there are two parts to this. You have to be very careful when you open it up because the bottom part of this here is indeed actually the lens hood. So be careful with that one. And just having a quick peek inside, it's just one more piece of plastic that holds that together nice and safe in the box. So let's get rid of the box. We don't need that. Let's throw it onto my nice new clean studio floor and let's have a little look at what we've got here. Let's pop the lens hood off and just put that over there as well. Unwrapping this nicely wrapped lens, we'll see in here, and I've left this OM1 with the 12-40 on here just so that you get a kind of size comparison as I'm doing this as well, because I've seen lots of comments regarding size of the lens. So let's have a little look there. Let's turn it all the way around on its end just so that it looks nice. And there we go. So this is our 90mm lens. Very, very sleek, lovely, lovely metal design on here. So you get that lovely finish. Of course, that's part of the weather sealing as well. Lovely magnesium alloy. You've got your feature set on the side, which includes a limiter switch, IS switch, and a lens function button. We'll go more into those as we look at the presentation as well. Now, of course, on the back side, we have the rear lens cap, which when removed reveals this lovely drop-in location at the bottom, which is going to accept the teleconverter. So the teleconverter is going to drop into here, nice and easy, and we'll pop that lens cap back on there. We take the front cap off here, lovely OM System lens cap at the front, and reveal that 62mm filter thread just in there. Lovely, lovely set of coated glass on the front. This is a fluorine coated front element, and we'll have a little look at that as well. Going back to the body, we've got that fantastic Pro clutch system here at the top here on that manual focus ring. And you'll see just under here as well, we've got the focus distances printed and very nicely, which we'll see a lot easier in some of the graphics of the presentation. We've got the magnification printed on here as well. So if we're looking all the way up here, we've got 0.25 times magnification, 0.5 times, 1 times, all the way up to 2 times, depending on where we are on this focus limiter switch. So let's pop that one there. And let's just take a little look at the lens hood, which is lovely and wrapped up, nice and safe. Of course, lens hoods, very good for lens protection, preventing flare from angular lights like the sun and things like that. So this is your LH66E lens hood, and it's a nice, simple twist-on lens hood. You've got one release button. So all we need to do is pop it onto the front lens hood thread and turn until it clicks. And there we go. That's the full size of this. With the lens hood on, and then when you want to remove, you're going to just depress that lens release and turn it that way to take it off. So it's a nice, easy system. What I want to do before we pop it into the lens wrapping cloth, just to show you how that works, is to then also look at it on an OM1. So if we make sure that the camera's off and remove the 12-40, and then we can put on the 90mm. If I try not to lose any lens caps, and then we can see the full true length there of this setup. Okay, so bear in mind that's with the lens hood. which I'll take off so that you can actually see what it's like without that. And there we go. So this is the full size of the system setup that you're getting with the 90mm. Given that this is a 180 equivalent field of view, this is still spectacularly light and easy to manage as well. Okay, so if you've got like different flash things with diffusers on and stuff, it's still not too big. And then if we open up our lens wrapping cloth, this is what else you get in the pack there, just to keep it nice and soft, because if you've got a number of lenses rattling around inside a bag, then obviously you want to protect these from any scratches. Scratches from inside your bag are not going to really cause problems to the operating of the product, but it does help to keep them nice. So there we go. You've got your nice wrapping cloth, and then that will fold over with your lens inside it just there. Lovely OMSYSTEM branding on here as well. So there we have that. This is what you're getting in your box, which is absolutely phenomenal. It is a gloriously well-made lens. It's a beautiful piece of engineering. It looks fantastic, like all the other pro lenses do. It's nice and slick. Most importantly, it performs very, very well. And hopefully over the coming days and weeks, we will see some images from our ambassadors, from people that have had the opportunity to use it before it actually finally lands and is shipped for you, the end user. So before going on and having a look at this presentation, really looking at the sort of specs on this, let's just see if we, excuse me, if we've got any questions. Thanks, Roger. This is beautiful from Roger, saying that I'm never on my own and you're all always with me, and that's fantastic. But if one of you could just come around and press the buttons, that'd also be great. Thanks for support, Roger. I love that. Okay, let's see. So this is a great question from Desiree. Hi, Desiree. Desiree is curious about the 4x possibility with the 2x converter. Doesn't the converter downgrade image quality? So I think what the most important thing to remember is that as you look through a lens and you get what the lens resolves naturally without anything else added to it, you're getting the best quality resolution, you're getting the best sharpness and everything else. And the minute you put any other optics on there, it will have an impact. And whether that's a large or small impact is what needs to be decided. Now, I've personally used the 2x converter with this on a very basic test. It was in fact, it was an interesting test that I did to look at how the focus bracketing worked over approximately 50 or 60 images, I think it was. And then I processed it in Helicon Focus, because that's just the software that I like to use. And I didn't really see, I mean, I saw a difference between the lens itself and cropped in and then the teleconverter on its own, but not enough difference for it to really be a worry or an impact. So the 2x converter works very well with the 90mm with minimal disruption to the image resolution effectively. But then, like I said, Desiree, hopefully we're going to see lots of examples of images over the next few days and weeks to show that as well. So thanks for your great question. Let me find another one. Let's see. Lots of... the magical white gloves. I could take them off now, actually, Rob. I'm taking the white gloves off. They were only to distract you from the numerous cuts and grazes that I got while moving house, because it wasn't very nice. Okay, let me just check some more questions. Keep them coming. I'm just trying to scroll through and see what we've got. This is great. This will be your #1 lens out of all the Olympus Pro range lenses, Tulicky in Ireland. Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much. And it's ordered today. Brilliant. And and this is fantastic. Carbon cut. How appropriate. Agree with the packaging concept. Thank you. It's very, very important to all of us that we have nice, sustainable packaging. Okay. Don's asked, will the instruction manual be available as a download PDF from the OM website? Yes, it will. When is to be decided. It doesn't have to be there until it launches, until the landing site date is there, but we usually do it before that anyway, but it will be there and available. Plus, if you all look on the events page that we have here at OM Digital Solutions, then you'll be able to see lots of virtual events like Zoom tutorials based around the 90mm macro as well. So there's lots of educational support that will be put out there for you. But Don, yes, the manual will be available. This is a great question from Terry. Is it compatible with the Olympus flash and ring flash? It is compatible with the STF8 flash, which comes with a 62mm adapter holder ring. So if you've already got the STF8 ring flash, twin head flash, then that came with a 46mm adapter ring for the front of the lens, or a 62mm, and this is a 62mm thread. So you've already got everything that you need if you have the STF8. And of course, compatible with all other flashes that are compatible with the OM Systems range as well. Okay. The two comments that came side by side for me is Mitchell saying that click though. I mean, it is beautiful. It's a beautiful click. Combined with Tim's, that manual clutch will be so convenient. It is super convenient. It is massively convenient. I love it. All right, let's have a look. Let's look at the presentation. Still looking for Geraint. So we'll hope that he can make it in. But if not, you'll be left with me for the duration of the session. So let's have a little look at this here. David and Geraint, but Geraint's not here. It's so sad. But technology sometimes does get the better of us. So let's see if we can just go through this. It is the techie stuff. It's corporate tech. So we're going to talk tech corporately and show you what we've got. Let's see. See the unseen. That is the thing. The stuff that I've been able to take images of with this lens plus the 2x converter is stuff that I've only ever imagined trying to do without the addition of extra magnifiers and extension tubes and things like that. And it is so nice not to have to keep going out, putting tubes on and off or magnifiers on and off and things like that. So, see the unseen. Yes, please. This is the lens. There are four main components to what this lens is all about. The first one being closer. So 2:4 magnification ratio. So when we're saying 2:4 magnification ratio, that is on the Micro Four Thirds sensor, 2:4 magnification ratio. That is the equivalent field of view of 4 to 8 times on a 35mm sensor. Okay, so if you're wanting to make comparisons to 35mm style lenses and things like that, not going to get anywhere near. There's a couple, but not that would have autofocus and things like that. But you'd be looking at 2 to 4 times Micro Four Thirds, 4 to 8 times equivalent. And autofocus, so important for macro. Lots of us go out there and we're so I have to do it manually. And I've done it myself. You just have to go out there, focus manually, rock backwards and forwards, do the thing. The 60mm is a prime example. You know, if I was shooting 1:1, even though it could focus automatically at 1:1, you have to be at that very specific range. And I would just prefer to be in manual and do it. But now with the 90mm, the autofocus is fast and accurate, even at that macro level. And of course, it's our first macro lens that has sync IS stabilization. So we've got 6 stops of in-lens stabilization, or up to 7 stops when it synchronizes with a sync IS body. So you're looking at the OM1, the EM1 Mark III, the EM1X. Anything that's a sync IS body will give you that full 7 stops of stabilization. And it's a ridiculous amount of difference when you go from seeing this kind of wobbly action through the viewfinder or the back screen to when the stabilization kicks in and it suddenly sort of solidifies itself. It's a wonderful experience. And of course, adventuring. So this is what we're all about. We're all about getting out there, adventuring in all weathers and not being held back by the rain, the snow, things like that. So the weather sealing on this Pro lens is magnificent, and it's at the same level as the OM1 and other Pro lenses as well. Okay. We've got some beautiful images already coming out of some of our ambassadors. This is a fantastic image from Jamie Rosenkrantz, who's one of our ambassadors here in the UK. And there'll be lots of stuff coming from Jamie and others in the very near future. So a whole new world. This is where we can really kind of delve deeper without all these extra cumbersome additions and things like that. So up to 2 times magnification straight through on its own. So that's 2-to-1 reproduction ratio. All right. So if it's 10 millimeters in real life, then it's going to be representing 20 millimeters, although you don't have that on the sensor on your image. So that's your equivalent to 4 times magnification with 35 millimeter standards. Now, we've only talked about the MC20, but of course you can use the MC14 1.4 times converters as well to different magnifications levels. But we've talked about the MC20 a lot because it is the most, it is the maximum we can create. And it's the, I'm not gonna lie, it's the easiest to convert as well. So we do 2 times. And you can see there that that's on and off at 4 times or up to 8 times 35 millimeter equivalents as well. Another great image from one of our fantastic ambassadors on the other side of the ocean. This is from Chris McGuinness. Chris is going to be doing, is going to be speaking with our amazing Michaela over in the US later on today, tonight, or this morning, depending on where you are in the world. It's in the future, so have a little look on our YouTube channel for that live. And Chris and Michaela are going to discuss how he got on in Costa Rica. This is one of his images that he took whilst in Costa Rica. AF is a big thing. So we are talking about AF. This is our second major point on here. It's high speed and high precision. To have AF in a macro lens that reproduces at 1-to-1 reproduction or more is amazing anyway. But to have it at the speed that this exists is just phenomenal. Let's break down what you're getting on that lens. Okay, so the first thing you've got on there is a focus limiter switch. Now, those of you that have got the 60mm macro will straight away note that it's a completely different engineering design to that lens. So this is a straight follow through switch, okay, a sliding switch, which will lock into either 0.5 meters to infinity, because remember, you can use this for other stuff. You could take some great portraits with this lens. 0.5 meters to infinity, 0.25 to 0.5 meters close-up range, at which point you will be able to get the 1 times magnification at 0.25 meters. And then S macro, super macro, which is going to give you that 0.224 meters closest focusing, okay, which I think is about 8.7 centimeters working distance. And it will just slide through and lock in. So it's going to lock it in, and it's not going to worry about trying to go anywhere else on that focusing scale, which is super, super useful. Then you've got your IS switch. So if you're going onto a tripod, you want to switch your IS off, or if you're using anything where specifically IS is not necessary for you, you've got a nice on-off switch for that. And then you have your LFN or lens function button. To have a lens function button on a macro lens is beyond helpful. It is so helpful. I literally programmed mine for in-camera focus stacking whilst I was running it. And then I would just take a single shot and then press the LFN button to toggle in-camera focus stacking on and off, or press and hold it and turn some dials to change my in-camera focus stacking parameters. It was a breeze. It was so easy to just have it right there. But of course, you can have it as any functionality you want. Anything that can be programmed to a button, you can have that. And then, of course, you've got your focus ring, which is lovely. It's nice and nice size. It's lovely, beautifully knurled, obviously sealed with a pullback focus clutch in there so that you can use manual focus whenever you want. I've lost my mouse. There we go. My mouse escaped me. And this is that nice closer view of underneath that manual focus clutch. When you pull that back and you're telling the lens to override everything into manual focus, you have that lovely scale, that distance scale, and then that magnification ratio that's right above it. So you go from your 0.25 times magnification at 0.5 meters through to 1 times magnification at 0.25 meters, and then 2 times at the far end at 0.224 meters. Okay, so only less than 3 centimeters difference between the 1 times reproduction ratio and the 2 times. But in macro, a little means a lot. So that's really, really important. This is a great shot, a beautiful snake, absolutely fantastic. Focus stacked in camera. And of course, it's fully compatible with focus stacking and bracketing with the autofocus as well when you need it. And then this slide just gives you an idea of the size and distance comparison. So if you were to have the 60mm macro lens on a camera and the 90mm on a camera at the same distances, you're going to get 0.5 times reproduction on the 60 and 2 times on the 90. And what does that really mean in real life? Well, a lot of people are saying, well, hang on a minute, the working distance isn't much difference. It's not, but it's the magnification ratio at those distances that makes it crazy. So if you wanted to reduce that, say you didn't need 2 times magnification, you needed 1 times, or even 0.5 times if you're doing butterflies, then the distance you're going to be away from the subject is much further to create that same 0.5 times magnification. So the flexibility is where we've really kind of upped the stakes on this. Honestly, I would be so much more excited if Geraint was here, because he feels the same thing about macro as me. So another beautiful image here from Jamie Rosenkrantz. Fantastic, nice 2 times magnification images. So the third component of this here is the stabilization. Obviously, handheld macro is super important. You're going to be crawling around on the bushes and trees and things like that. And even if you're shooting at the full 4 times with the teleconverter on, stabilization is super important. This is an example of what happens when the stabilization is not active and then the shutter button is halfway pressed to make it active. So this is that kind of movement that we expect from a massive magnification of at a macro level through the lens or on the back screen. And then you see that kind of smoothness as the image stabilization takes over. So this is obviously Sync IS. This is through an OM1. And this is giving you 7 stops of stabilization difference, which is bringing things down. And you do have to think about how you use that. I mean, the key to it is that you can then take incredibly good handheld focus stacks, but you also have to consider the challenges that are involved with things that are moving. So you have to work all that in. But what this is giving you is a much greater edge over anything else that's currently available, including our own 60. Here's how the stabilization works. You've got that 7 stops of shutter speed compensation, working on angular and shift compensation. So angular shake is one of the most difficult to stabilize for. So you've got that built into the lens, and you've got everything else that comes from the body, and they combine nicely to give you those 7 stops. Another beautiful image from Chris. I'm very much looking forward to Chris and Michaela's presentation live this evening. I always do enjoy listening to Chris speak and seeing his images as well. So if you can make that that YouTube live, definitely go for it. There he is, getting nice and wet in Costa Rica, but proving a point. So this is about the all-weather performance of the lens. IP53 rated, splash proof, dust proof, freeze proof to -20 degrees. IP53 is the rating that we've now got on a lot of our lenses, plus the OM1. So you can really get out there and not have to worry about what's going on with the weather. It used to be an excuse, particularly for me. Oh, I'm not going to go shooting because it's it's raining really badly, or there's no excuses now. We've got to go and do it. Particularly with things like this, we've got a fluorine coating. So a lot of our lenses do have fluorine coatings now, and that is basically creating a sort of hydrophobic surface, which means that if you get water on your lens, you can shake it off, or you can use a blower and it will just breeze off, or a microfiber cloth should just wipe it straight away. It's creating that really easy to clean surface if it gets wet. Oops, my presentation just had a bit of a moment then. And then this is just to give you a kind of a recap of what these feature sets are within this lens. Ultimately it's about getting out there and using it. And like I said, over the next days and weeks, we will see lots and lots of things coming forward. Personally, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to try and create some comparisons between the 60mm and the 90mm in various different areas, but we'll see ambassador images, those people out there that are truly embedded in the macro world coming back with their thoughts and feelings, and most importantly, their images. So this is really just the techie to kind of give you a recap on there. You've got that 2 times magnification, which is a 4 times equivalent FOV on 35mm, 4 times with the MC20 teleconverter, full autofocus all the way down to that 4 times as well. Internal Sync IS up to 7 stops. Your full IP53 weather sealing. It's the lightest macro lens in class as well. So for what it does in terms of the reach it's achieving and everything else, it is the lightest. And ultimately, let's have a look. It's 20% lighter than the nearest competitor, but then the nearest competitor doesn't actually achieve the same magnification. So all in all, we're saving a huge amount. We're saving sort of 300 grams on the weight, which is massively, massively important. Some dimensions for those of you who want to do a freeze frame, check if any of your existing kit is going to match with it. 62mm thread, 69.8 by 136 millimeters long, and it's weighing in at 453 grams. It's teeny tiny, really, for the reach that it's creating. I love it. Excuse me. So, as you've already seen, what we've got in the box, you've got your front lens cap, your rear lens cap, your LH66E hood, and that lovely, nice wrapping cloth to keep everything nice. Fully compatible with your MC20 and your MC14 teleconverters. And of course, if you need a flash, then fully compatible with FL700WR, which is my preferred flash, or the FL900, which is a little bit bigger, and of course your third-party flashes that are compatible with OM Systems products. You've got your STF8 macro flash, which comes with that 62mm adapter ring for the front, so you can go straight into it. And of course, for those that want them, there's protection filters and lens cases and things like that for extra protection. Put up 3 currency price changes for prices for you. These are the RRPs. So recommended retail prices in euros is 14.99, in dollars is 14.99, and in British pounds sterling it's 12.99. And obviously then you're going to have to make your conversions to other regional currencies as well. And I believe we're looking at the 26th of February for initial units coming through to wherever you are in the world, I think. And that's a beautiful image as well. See the unseen. There we go. Let's take that away. So not long to wait until those units come through. Now, I've already had messages sent through to me today saying, is it going to be a massive long wait for this lens? And initially, we're going to be a little bit on short supply, but only initially. So we're not expecting massive, massive waits. So no months and months on end for those pre-orders to be fulfilled. But initially, it will be first come, first served. And then we should be able to, after that, get on top of things pretty quickly. Let's take this. Where are we at? Okay. No sign of Geraint. I was so looking forward to catch up with Geraint. We had a little catch up yesterday through Zoom, and then today the tech just did not want to work, unfortunately. Let's get back in. This might be an idea, actually. The Gaza DJs asked, do we get the white gloves when our lens arrives? Maybe it's something we need to do as a free gift. I don't know. I can't approve that. I can't authorize that at all. But to be honest with you, it just, my hands are absolutely ruined at the moment. Nobody needs to see that. Okay, so let's see. We've got Andy saying, can you put the lens hood on reverse for storage? You can. Okay, here we go. Let's see. In reverse. And there it is, all locked in, nicely stored, just like that in front of my face. That's perfect stuff. So you can, Andy, absolutely reverse it. There we go. Jeffrey Hurd. What's the working distance at the highest magnification? Fantastic answer. 2 times magnification or 4 times with a teleconverter on, you'll be sitting at 0.224 centimeters focusing distance. That's from sensor to subject. So I'm pretty sure I worked that out at 8.7 centimeters or 87 millimeters. Something amazing has just happened. Oh my goodness me. Something absolutely phenomenal has happened.
Dave's excited.
Hey,
oh, man.
This is amazing.
I know.
Oh, I nearly cried. You know, I nearly cried because I was coming on my own.
Dude, I was still crying. I'm still crying.
You made it though. You beat the technology and you got through.
Beat it. You know what I did? I physically beat it into submission. Yeah, did it.
Oh, so fun. Geraint, so good to see you. So good to see you. I'm so happy.
Thanks,
we've had some great questions, and and a couple of people that were so sad that you weren't here as well. So,
oh well, there we are. I'm back for now.
But yeah, made it. Listen. Though, actually, this is weird because when we met yesterday, we said, "Oh, I'll do my nerdy geeky tech bit for about half an hour, and then we'll come on and we'll chat." And you've landed pretty much at the right time on that, anyway. So this is fantastic.
I styled it out in the end. Hey, pretty good,
brilliant stuff. Okay, well, look, shall we jump straight into this?
Give me like 2 seconds.
Okay, you have 2 seconds.
Thanks,
I'm going to
man.
just go through and pick up another couple of questions while you're doing that, so don't worry too
Very
much
good.
about that, Geraint.
Cool beans.
Let's see. Fantastic question from Wilhelmian saying, this morning Claire said it's over the top with the OM1. How's it acting with the EM1 Mark III? I've put it on an EM1 Mark III to test it. I want to test how the firmware updates were running on it, and it works fantastically. Geraint, I know, has also run it on an EM1 Mark III, and it's working beautifully. So fantastic question there. Thank you very much. Yes, Dave, it does work with the 1.4 converter as well. Let's see. We got some people wanted some comparisons. Everyone's wanting to keep me busy. Joe said I would like to see a 30v 60v 90 comparison, and then a 90v 90 plus 1.4v 90 plus 2 times. Yeah, let's do it.
I got some comparisons in here, actually. I got a couple of images in here that will resolve that. Yeah,
don't you?
Yeah,
fantastic stuff. Right, so I've lost you on the video, Geraint. So oh no. Oh, we've lost him again. Oh my goodness me. We were just there. Let's just hope that we can recover this. I'll keep going through some questions and see. Jeff, ordered today. Have you used it with the STF8 yet? I have not used it with the STF8 yet, no, but over the next couple of days, I do intend to. Believe it or not, I didn't have a great amount of time with it in the lead up to today. I had a chance to do a few basic tests that I thought were really more important than anything else. And then I left that one in the box so we could unbox it together today. But as soon as I do, we'll have some updates on that one as well. Let's see. Terry, do all the OM1 computational modes work with this lens? Yes, absolutely. If you want to do high res, you want to do focus stacking, you want to do focus bracketing, all works with them. There are no restrictions on this. This is a pro lens. Let's see, what else does it work with? Subject recognition? Yes, it works with subject recognition because subject recognition is on chip, so that's being worked out by the processor. So yeah. Chud, shut up and take my money. As you wish, sir. Yes, no problem. Just pass it through over here and I'll arrange that for you. Thanks very much. It's good to see so many people so positive and enthusiastic about this product. Robin's great question. What about IS when mounted on a monopod? IS on or off? So for me, I would keep it on because you've obviously still got some movement when you're on a monopod. And I do actually quite like to use a monopod when using macro because it gives you a bit more freedom whilst giving you that center of gravity stability. So if you're using a monopod, IS on for sure. Yeah, definitely. Lovely question. Does the focus limiter switch override the limiter in the OM1's menu? Yes, it does. So any physical switch on the lens will override what's going on in the camera, i.e. manual focus, clutch will override autofocus, and the limiter switch will override anything else in the menu as well. I have a great question. And hopefully we shall see a lovely review from you very, very soon. Thank you very much for popping in. Okie dokie. Let's see. What time is Chris on? That is a great question. If you head over to the OMSYSTEM.Camera YouTube channel and then hit the live, it will show you the upcoming lives. And wherever you are in the world, it will convert to your regional time zone. So yeah, that's the best thing to do is go over there because it will tell you when it's due on in your time zone according to whatever your browser's set to. Fantastic stuff. Let's see. I can't believe Geraint came in and dangled the carrot of socialism and then off he went. Not socialism, but socializing, and then gone again. Well, fingers crossed we can get him back. Let's see if we've got any more techie questions for that. Okay, good question from Ben on the Narrowband channel. Does it have focus breathing? So effectively, no. And it shouldn't have anyway because of the way that it's designed. Ultimately, we will find out if there are any kind of anomalies regarding that area. But for me, I would want to say I'm about 95% no on that one. But it's something that I think we need to do some more comparisons over. Sadly, I took time off at the wrong time just before we launched this lens and didn't have much time to crack on with some of these more important questions. But we will bring you lots of information as we go through. Lots of people saying ordered one. Carl's ordered one. Fantastic stuff. Renegade 42. Don't worry about being late. You can just always, when this finishes, you can just go back and pick up the bits that you missed. Yes, Colin. Oh, high res at 4 times magnification. Absolutely, absolutely superb. I am just wondering if I did, and I haven't set this up, but I might be able to show you a comparison. It's not very interesting. It's something that I did yesterday for my own benefit, and I'm just going to try and get these open now. Is that I did do a comparison and excusing depth of field, because there is a difference in the depth of field in these two images. We might be able to sell, and I'm not sure how well it's going to show through the stream. The stream's at 1080, so we'll just see if we can. I'm just going to see if I can share this window with you. Possibly. Let's go. I'm going to leave Colin. I'll take Colin's questions down there, but it is relative to this. Okay. So this is, let's see if I can a little zoom in. This is the 90mm with the MC20. This is, oh, by the way, this is a coriander seed. Okay. So this is about 6mm across. Okay. From edge to edge with the MC20 with no cropping. Absolutely no cropping with the MC20. Okay, so we had this question earlier on as, does the MC20 degrade the image? Is there a loss of quality? And, you know, we can't say no, because physics dictates that, yeah, there is going to be some loss of quality. So look, but if we can produce this, which is magnificent with the MC20, and this is a stack of, I think it was 55 images. You can see there where the depth of field, literally where the stack ends. But this, for me, was a technical comparison. So with this, let's see if I can bring in the other image. This is the 90mm on its own cropped into the same value. Okay, so you can definitely see that the sharpness is a little bit different, but honestly, looking at these two side by side, really could not tell what, you know, if I hadn't labeled them up, which ones were which. It's just a phenomenal quality resolution coming out, and these are very basic, quick stacks that were made using I was also using an FL 700 WR and a diffuser just to get these shots nicely lit. But yeah, so going back to what Colin was saying about using 4 times magnification in high res, if you can get that without the high res, we can only imagine what we're getting with it. So it'd be good to see some of those comparisons as well. Okay. Sadly, I don't think I'm going to get Geraint back. I'm not seeing any sign of him. I'm just pulling up Renegade 42's question. If we're asking if we can use the 90mm macro on the TG607, no, you can't add a lens onto that. It's only the fixed lens within the camera. Barry has done some research for me. Excuse me. 7 p.m. UK time for Chris McGuinness and Michaela talking live, which is going to be fantastic. So I'll be sat downstairs with a cup of tea watching those guys later on. Thanks for popping that in there, Barry. That's amazing. And also, obviously, check on OMSYSTEM.Cameras. The wonderful back of house elves have put on the link there to the events page as well. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so again, Anastas, someone tried the 90mm with handheld high res, interested in flowers, fungus images using handheld high res. There will be so many images coming out over the next few days of different variations of using the lens, the teleconverters, the high res features, both tripod based and stacking, like I just showed you there as well. So tons and tons and tons of different stuff will come out over the next couple of days. So keep your eyes open for that. But I'm very confident we're going to see some absolutely amazing stuff. Gaza DJ, can we use the MC20 with a 60mm macro? It doesn't have the right space in it. So you need the recession on the back of the lens for the teleconverters to go in. So sadly, the design doesn't allow it, unfortunately. Terry's asking, hasn't been tested on the pen cameras yet. It will work perfectly fine on those cameras. A lot of people were asking about why only certain cameras were updated to allow for the 90mm. And I think what the problem with that question is that a lot of people assumed that if it didn't have the update, the 90mm just wouldn't function. And that's not actually the case. So the 90mm update was put out for cameras that had focus stacking in camera capabilities, or had the phase detect focusing system. And if the camera doesn't have focus stacking in camera or phase detect, then it wouldn't have needed the update. But the 90mm will work across all those cameras, Terry. So yeah, great questions. Okay. So Terry's asking, do you get all 7 points of stabilization with an EM1 Mark II? Yes, it's Sync IS. So you don't get 7 because of the base body in that one. So you'll get 5.5 stops of stabilization with an EM1 Mark II. Synchronized though, which is pretty good. Mike's question is, how long does it take to shoot a stack of, say, 20 frames? I think I've seen this question somewhere before today, Mike, probably from yourself. So the answer to that is it depends on what the shutter speed is. So for example, if you set up for 20 shots, bracketing, and your shutter speed is a 20th of a second, then effectively it should take a whole second to go through those 20 shots, because you're not waiting for AF. It's on the wire focusing as it goes through incrementally. And that's not including processing, obviously. But if you had a 1 second shot for every one of those, then it's going to take 20 seconds to complete the whole thing. So it's all relative to the shutter speed that you have set for that stack. But it's a good question. Thanks very much for offering it. Let's see. Terry's question is about updating lens firmware. Do you still have to update lens firmware with lens on camera? Yes. Yes. So you can't plug your lens directly into the firmware updater. So you have to have the lens on the camera and then plug the camera into your computer and run OM workspace and then the firmware updater from there. Fantastic. Look, Emily's just joined. Emily's in. Fantastic to see you, Emily. Joining in between classes. So Emily's teaching. And already we've both been raving about this on social media today, having little sort of childish moments about how good it is. Great to see you, Emily. Fantastic stuff. Catch up with us properly later. And thanks for dropping in. Ron is asking about any firmware needed beyond 1.3 for the OM1 in relation to this lens. No. As some might sneakily, the OM1 was already prepared for the 90mm, so you don't need to do anything extra in there. I'm gonna address this one from Wilhelmian, saying, I saw someone use the teleconverter on the 60mm with an extension tube on the lens, and then the converter fits. It's not officially recognized or supported should anything go wrong. So regardless of however that works, and I'm not going to deny that it doesn't work, it does work, and only with certain extension tubes as well. But we don't officially support that method. So if you have a boo-boo with this setup, then there's not a great deal that we won't be covered under your warranty. But there's no denying that that setup kind of works. It's just not necessary now on a 90mm. Let's have a quick look. Does manual focus work in CAF plus MF? It doesn't work on the 30 and the 60. Yes, so it does with the pro lenses. It does, and obviously you've got the manual focus clutch as well if you need to. But it does work CAF with MF override. Yes, it will work. Great question. Carol, what is the warranty on this lens? It's the same as every other product that we produce. It's a fantastic question, by the way. So you have a 2-year warranty on all lenses and bodies that we produce. Make sure you register them to support that. Thanks, Carol. Good to see you as well. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to get Geraint back, which is sad. This is sad times. As soon as I finish the live, I'm going to go and FaceTime him because we're going to have a catch up anyway. So I'm going to go and FaceTime Geraint. And what I think it's important to say right now is that we'll get the technology problem sorted and we'll relist a live with myself and Geraint to go over the images and his responses that we were going to do today, because we've still got those to go over. So my apologies and Geraint's apologies for technology being out of our control, but we are sorry. We will come back and have a real nerdy, giggly chat about this lens and the images that it's producing. Please continue to support us with all this positive energy that you've all given me in this live, which has been fantastic. We will try and answer as many questions as you've got. Once the live kind of goes back to just a normal video, you can hit the comments and put any questions in there. Me and the team will try and get in there and answer those as well. And of course, you can reach out to us on social media. So hopefully this has been a nice nerdy introduction to the lens, because I know that the Claires this morning had a great time talking about it as a, you know, from a photography point of view and the images and stuff like that. And they left all the nerdy bits to me, which I appreciate, because that's my favorite part. And there's loads more stuff coming out in different regional languages today as well. So my fantastic colleagues around the world are going to be doing similar unboxings and talking about the technical capabilities of the lens in regional languages, as well as having some more ambassadors like Michelle and Chris come on later on today to talk about it as well. Okay, thanks for all your lovely messages. And I will see you very soon, whether you want to Zoom, because there's loads of Zooms. So go over to the events page and book onto your Zooms. Then there's obviously, we'll come back to Tech Thursday, and I will reschedule a live with Geraint, and we'll all come back. And I expect to see you all here for the next one. But for now, you've all been fantastic as usual. So I'll see you all very, very soon. Thanks for coming, and take care.